Good afternoon, everyone, or good evening to some of you. Just want to check in. Can we, in the chat, because this is a webinar, so we haven't got your cameras or your faces, just a thumbs up in the chat or a hello that you can hear me in the chat, please. That will be great. Welcome, everyone. You can just put it in the chat for me. Hey, Anthony, actually. Edward, hello. Hey, well, Callum, yeah, cool. Anyone else can just confirm that you're all good? You can hear me? Brilliant. Okay, good. All right, perfect. So welcome, everyone. Welcome to the webinar hosted by Veblen Directors. Hey, Cynthia. What I would love to start off with is actually, let's use the chat because I do want to interact today. I really want to get to know some of you. So where are you from? We've already got some people here. So we've got Anthony from the UK. Edward didn't get where you're from. We got Cynthia from Singapore. So we've got Sue from Singapore. So if you just tell us where you're from, what you do as well would be great. Are you in business? What's your role? Hey, Sabine from Zurich. Love that. And then we got, what a cool name, Trust from South Africa. Very cool. So just by the way, if you see me here, it's because I have you on my left here in the chat. So where are you all from? Let's get to know each other. Dubai. Hello, Dubai. Love the UAE. One of my favorite places in the world, for sure. Ashwin from Zurich. Good. Perfect. So we've got some great people here. We've got Uganda here. Love it. Awesome. Brilliant. So what today's going to be about, a couple of things I want to just step through before I go into like slides and presentation is that I have a lot to get through today. So please get your notepads ready and be open and willing to learn. What I will guarantee is enormous amounts of value here. I've got a lot to get through, so I'm going to cram a lot in. But there is a couple of things I do want to mention that around interaction. So if I ask you a question or if I interact with you, put it in the chat. Also, just put it in the chat, interact with me so I know that you can hear and you listen to me. So if I ask you a question, do answer it. I've got the chat literally here on my left so I can see everything there. So just answer there. Otherwise, let's get going. We're all ready? Good. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if we're ready. There we go. I can see the thumbs going. Beautiful. Right. So I'm just going to do some of my logistics here and get my screen shared. Just give me a second and then we will get going and we'll start this off, which will be really cool. All right, let me get me sorted here. Okay, so you guys should now see on the screen, discover the 4 systems every small business owner needs to scale with less stress. Can I get a thumbs up that you can see that? Yeah? Can I get, just put it in the chat, by the way, guys, because that's the best. I can see the thumbs on the thing as well. Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that. All right. So a couple of things I want to talk about what this presentation, as you can see, it is targeted to business owners. So if you're here as a leader, director, or manager, a thought leader, but don't own a business, look, you'll get value from this today, but I am going to be talking to business owners. That's what I do. I consult, I coach, I advise small business owners, predominantly in the UK, ranging from 500,000 turnover to 5 million turnover. That's kind of my sweet spot. So you will get a lot from today if you're not in the business realm and if you're not at those income levels yet. However, that is what this is targeted to today. I just want to be sure that you guys knew that, but we will make sure that you get the value from it regardless, and you'll learn a lot, I have no doubt. So, like I said, I do have a lot to get through. So I just want to let you know that I might skim through some slides quite quickly. So make sure you're paying attention and make sure you got your notepads ready. But let's go through what you're going to get today. So what you will leave with today, what's super important is before we start, before we build this relationship over the next hour, I want to make sure you know what you're going to get and what this workshop is designed for. So I'm going to show you the 4 core systems any small business owner needs to put more profit in their pocket and more free time in their calendar or in your calendar. So if you use what I show you today, you will witness your team running the day-to-day and you'll be able to step back without sacrificing growth. That's what I do. I help business owners build businesses that do not rely on them. And we will remove key person risk as the bottleneck in your business. So just to confirm, does that sound good? Give again, thumbs up, yes in the chat. Just put a yes in the chat. Is that what you would love to find out more about today? Because that's what I'm going to cover. Give me a yes in the chat, thumbs ups. Nice, Claire. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Trust. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate that, Anthony. You're really engaging. I appreciate that. Okay, so now you're probably thinking, hey, who's this guy? Who's this person that, Veblen Directive has promoted to do a webinar for you? Well, how can I say what I'm saying? It's really simple. It's because this is the exact system I used to scale to multiple millions as a CEO, and is the system dozens of my clients use to break free from being the bottleneck in their business. And this is a picture from one of my mastermind days. I host 4 mastermind days a year for my private mastermind clients. And this is us in central London. Now, the reason they're so happy in their businesses is they are no longer experiencing their work depending on them for everything. They are no longer got a mental load that stresses them out and busy weeks with no real progress. Anyone feel like that sometimes? That you get up and you have a busy week, but you don't feel like you've moved things forward in your business? Well, we need to stop that. And all those business owners you just saw there are building a scalable businesses that can grow without the stress. Grow without the stress. That's the most important part here. But most importantly for you, if you are a business owner and you're trying to scale your business, I know what that's like. And I truly believe you deserve peace. You deserve space to think. You deserve evenings without your mind racing. And you deserve time off without guilt. That is my mission. We are not here to build businesses just to work our asses off. I know there are many people online that promote that, and that's fine. But I have done this with so many people, hundreds even. And I can tell you right now that the biggest thing that I find is that we think we need to go to 25, 30, 50, 60, all these big numbers that are out there because these big entrepreneurs are now building personal brands, when really what we want is a business that serves our life. And I want to give you a business that runs well, grows predictably, and doesn't cost you your health, energy, or family time. That's my mission, all while making the income you want. So what I'm going to show you today has been built to give you more peace, more space, less stress, and still witness growth in your business. So I just want to, again, triple check, just do a temperature check. Is that what you are looking for? Put why in the chat if that is why you are here. I'm just setting context for you today. Thank you, Claire. Yes, brilliant. Love that. Sue, brilliant. If that's what you're looking for, you will love what I'm going to show you today. As I said, I'm going to skim through this a little bit, but it's going to add a lot of value. So, Victoria, thank you. Also, do you guys appreciate honesty and transparency? Do you appreciate, and I ask you that as a serious question. I want you to think, do you appreciate honesty and transparency? And why do I ask this? Because I want to start today the exact way that I plan to continue any kind of relationship with you guys moving forward, which is just to let you know what to expect. As I said, this presentation is specifically designed for owners, directors, and leaders running service businesses at least 500K minimum in revenue. That doesn't mean you won't get value from it if you're not there, but it is going to be targeted to those kind of people. And I also want you to know that I do not have a magic pill or formula of overnight success here today, or any AI tool that's going to do everything for you. It's just not what I do. I also want to be clear about this. I am also not here to sell anything today. This is just a free webinar. But I do have 2 agendas that I want to talk to you about. First, I want to give you the clearest, most useful information I know for turning a business that feels chaotic into one that runs and grows without you being the bottleneck. But second, I will make you an offer at the end for those who want some real hands help installing this properly in your business. And this is because there is a real difference between knowing what to do and actually getting it done. But here is the deal. Here is really important. If I don't deliver on the first promise and add loads of value here today, at the end of this presentation, if you do not feel like you've walked away with a practical plan that you can use tomorrow to reduce pressure and scale with less stress, then please do not listen to what I have to say at the end. I do not want you to listen to me unless it genuinely helps. But if, on the other hand, you like today and it feels like the clearest and most practical answer you've seen to breaking the bottlenecks in your business that you operate, then just promise me one thing. Hear me out until the end. All right? Because you will get a chance to talk to me one-on-one in a scaling clarity call. This is not a sales call. It is a clarity call. If you want some tailored help applying what I teach today into your business, that is it. It is an invitation to have a conversation. And I'll also be giving you access to some of the tools and resources. Veblen are going to make sure you guys get that I show you today. You're going to walk away with some of that as well. So that is worth staying to the end for anyway. Fair enough. Transparency done. All good. Again, give me a yes in the chat or thumbs up in the chat. Just wanted to make that very clear. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you, Trust. Brilliant. Good, good, good. But why even listen to me? I think we've all, if you haven't done your research on me, no worries. You maybe have seen me on LinkedIn. But the main thing to understand is what I've been doing the last few years. The last several years, I've been the CEO of a company called Investment Mastery. I revived that company after it almost died in 2020. And against all odds, I led the turnaround and planned the turnaround plan that scaled that business to over 17.9 million in sales over 4 years with an average net profit margin of 35%. And we served 7,000 clients over 25 countries in my tenure as their CEO. So that's what I've been doing the last few years. I know how to scale businesses. I'm also not a business guru. I want to make that clear. I have simply done what I believe most of you want to do. And I just have an unwavering passion to help you, business owners, find peace and wealth through business ownership and leadership. And this is the vehicle to create a dream life, but you're just maybe not building it the way you want to. And that's why I developed Systemize to Scale. I have experienced a lot in business, but here is where I'm finding my magic and I'm finding my purpose is at Systemize to Scale, showing business owners what I did and how I did it. And I also took my LinkedIn from 600 followers to 38,000 followers in under 12 months. It's actually more than that now. And that's not to brag because I don't think followers make any number to brag about. But the reason I'm telling you this is what I share about scaling businesses and building teams is resonating. If you just see here comments, reactions, you can see here reposts, to the point the stuff I'm sharing out there is resonating so much with the market that I got a very interesting DM on LinkedIn from Stephen Bartlett and from his team asking, John, can we share one of your posts on his profile? And I said, of course, yes. And the reason I'm saying this is because what I'm doing is resonating. That's all. And to show you that what I'm saying, you should listen to today. Okay. Now, I don't say this to brag, and I don't say this for any other reason, just to tell you who I am and know who you're listening to. But enough about me. That is it about me. I don't want to go too much detail into that. You can ask me any questions at the end. Are we ready to make the rest of 2026 an exceptional year for you and your business? Give us a thumbs up if you are. Perfect. Thank you for sharing the LinkedIn post, the LinkedIn profile. So you can check it in the chat, guys. Go check me out on LinkedIn. Go connect with me. If you connect with me from this webinar, please, it's very difficult. I get, no joke, hundreds, if not thousands of connection requests a month at the moment. So please drop me an email with that or a message on that connection saying Veblen webinar, just refer to this webinar and I'll make sure my team connect with you. Okay. So let's go. Let's do this thing. I want to talk to you today about the self-scaling system, how to scale without losing your sanity. But for a moment, let's talk about systemization and scaling. What is it all about? Well, one thing I realized in business, in small business particularly, is why do we actually need to systemize? There's something called the small business life cycle. Okay. Now, what happens is we start a business and we start at the bottom, right? We start down here. And then we start to put our energy and attention to it. And we put grit and hard work and the hustle. And we start to get traction, momentum. And then we start to expand the business. What happens is we get to this point, which is what I call flatline or constant chaos, or a mixture of both. Either the business just hasn't grown for many years or has just stayed flatline, or it's just constantly mayhem for you as the owner, as the founder. And then what happens is essentially what you don't know, you don't know. And all you've done is create dependency on you, which then equals burnout, which then builds you to what's called a death line. And I don't want that for you. Well, this is what happens in most small businesses after 5, 10, 15 years, sometimes even less, because the dependency is burning you out. And then the business either just collapses or you collapse. What's even worse is where I've been in my career is here. Hold on and hope. So you keep building. It's just up, down, roller coaster. And then by the end of it, you're at the death line anyway. And this is the small business life cycle. But what we want to do is we want to Get to this point and systemize. And how do I actually know this? Well, how does he know this? Well, in the UK particularly, there's about 1 million businesses up for sale every single year. 75% of them never sell. Now you're thinking, well, 25% is not bad. Well, actually, 25% of them don't sell. Many of them just shut, right? They're just completely shut. Like you'll get so many you've got a lot of baby boomers right now just shutting their businesses, not doing anything with them. Or they do sell, right? There is a small percentage that do. But because they flatlined, that 75% or more, nobody wants to buy them. Why? Because they're just totally founder dependent. There's no predictability, there's no forecasting going on. They're just running day to day on this treadmill. So that's why we need systemization. We need it so we can get to the breakout phase and build a business that doesn't rely on us. So then it becomes scalable, sustainable, and sellable. But why are you actually here? By the way, did that resonate with anyone? Just triple check in the chat before I move forward. Put it in the chat, thumbs up, yes, no. Yeah. Christian, thank you. Claire, thank you. Good. It should. If you're in business, this will resonate with you because it's just so common, so common. So why you're probably here, if you're in business, is because you're growing. Growth isn't getting any easier. You've built something that works, but if you're actually honest with yourself, you're the thing that keeps it working. And the main thing is that most business owners and leaders at this stage feel like they're the Google of the business, literally. So your days end up like this, people just asking you so many things left, right, and center. You just can't get away from it. So there's no progress. So, or you do get progress. So progress happens, but only when you push it, only when you are there, right? And we want to change that. We want to make sure that progress can happen even when you're not around, right? Or even worse, you can't step away without guilt and get anxiety. And you end up looking at your laptop like this and not much gets done because you're meant to take a break, but you can't help but get back to the laptop because you know you've got a lot to do and get through because you're the one keeping it all together. And this is why it happens, is that it's the hidden cost of growing without systems. Most businesses grow faster than they systemize. And you're not alone, by the way. If you're saying things like, everything lives in my head, I'm reacting constantly, we've hired, but nothing's really changed. You've probably tried several things. You've probably tried the hiring. You've tried setting up the processes, and you've even tried learning from books and videos, but none of it has stopped the chaos. And what you started a business for, what you actually want, what we all became entrepreneurs for, is really freedom, clarity, and a business that doesn't need us 24/7. You know, you want to imagine having a team that takes ownership and drives results for you, a structure that prevents chaos as you scale, time back to lead and create, not just do stuff, actually create something, and a business that grows and gives you your life back. That's what you're actually looking for. That's what we're looking for as business owners. And I've spoken to a lot of business owners, and I've categorized this into two specific words that we are looking for when we became entrepreneurs or became business owners. And that is freedom and choice. And this isn't about doing less. It's about what matters, about what we enjoy. I was with my mentor this morning, actually. If anyone knows, search Matt Gray is a mentor of mine. I spoke to him today, and we were talking about this, about building. What am I going to do now in my career now that I've done well for myself and all this? What's the next move? Like, it's got to fit a specific criteria. And one of them is freedom and choice. Freedom and choice. But there's a problem. The reason we're not there yet is because everything is still in your head. So it's just a lack of documentation and repeatable systems. I don't know if everyone is doing their job. You might be saying that to yourself because you've got no KPI systems, no real-time visibility on what's going on in the business. People need my input all the time. There's no clear team structure or ownership in the business. Or we're reacting and not planning, so there's no cadence that can stay ahead of issues and forecast the future. And what is abundantly clear is you don't need another theory heavy fix. You don't need another theory heavy fix. Am I right in saying that? I want you to answer that to yourself. You don't want that. What you need is a straightforward plan that fits into your business and creates real team ownership. And that's what I'm going to walk you through right now, is the practical, realistic, and built to stick system. The good news is I have all the answers for you and the proof that it works. This is just an example of Mike, who implemented the self-scaling system I'm going to show you in a moment into his business. And for the first time in 18 months, these were literally the words he said: I've seen empty calendar space, time to work on what I want, or just not work at all, and things are still going well. Or even Becky, who runs a commercial cleaning business. By the way, all these businesses do around $1 million in turnover. Right? Daytime, I only really work if it's a meeting or client appointment. My teams run most of the day today without me. This is Becky. And just to show you, this is the exact WhatsApp. I literally have cut and pasted that pretty much, that she sent me the other day. And this is just how she talks. She's from the UK and from London. I'm buzzing, mate. I literally work on the business early morning and some evenings. Daytime, I really work. Daytime, I only really work if it's meetings or client appointment. My team runs the day to day without me. And I play My Little Pony most days, winning. And you're probably thinking, My Little Pony? It's because she owns horses. So she goes to see the horses. And this is her sending me a picture in the afternoon. It's actually a Systemized to Scale cup. She goes, look. So she's at the horses stables pretty much every afternoon now, hanging out with her 2 horses. So who here would like to have what Mike and Becky have created for themselves and their families? Just put it in the chat. Let me know with a thumbs up. Who here would like that for themselves? Think about it. It's possible. Sounds great. We can do it, Anthony. There's no doubt in my mind. I'm doing it right now with dozens of businesses. It's possible. All right, Ganesh, let's make it happen. So don't worry, because today I'm going to teach you the mechanism that does exactly that for you. And it is my developed self-scaling system. It's the 4 core systems every business owner needs to scale without being the bottleneck, to scale with less stress, to scale for more profit. Each system is designed to focus on solve a specific friction point in your business so you can build something sustainable, scalable, and sellable. And this is the exact system I used in 2020 to revive and double the business I ran in less than 18 months. And it helped us generate 17.9 million in sales over 4 years at a 35% net profit. So let me now show you the entire system beginning to end. We're going to start. Now, I want you to think about this as an operating system that turns what's in your head into a structure, into ownership, into rhythm, into flow. So your business can run and grow without you being at the center of it all. Now, I can't show you the entire thing in detail today. I just want to be honest about it. I just don't have enough time. This is something I do over like 3 to 4 months with people. But I'm going to show you the highest impact parts, the pieces that will remove you as the bottleneck first. And then I'm going to give you an overview of all 4 systems as well. So you can go really deep, but I'm going to go really deep on about 2 to 3 key frameworks that you can take away with you today and action in your business tomorrow. I'm going to make sure of that, but I can't go through it. I just want to be clear that this is like a 4-month process I do with people, but I will give you enough to make an impact tomorrow. So the first system is the bottom part here, fundamental foundations. System 1, we install and structure. You need to install and structure clarity, ownership, and across your team. What this system does is it solves chaos, confusion, and ad hoc execution. You're going to get visual workflows, and you need to build playbooks that replace what's in your head. You need roles and responsibilities to become clear across the team. Once you've done that, the outcome is that the team starts to execute consistently without asking you. You stop being the source of every answer, and you reclaim time and focus and headspace for smooth growth. You finally have a structure that works without you. No more winging it, no more being the one that everyone comes to for answers. This is the quickest way to get your time back, is build those fundamental foundations. And we do that through several different frameworks that I'm going to show you a couple today. Right? The first thing we need to do is track where you spend most of your time and what area of the business you spend it in. So it is, where are you spending your time? And are you actually spending time on growth, which is where most of us need to be spending our time? So we do that with what I call the founder efficiency tracker, which you're seeing on the screen now. Now, really simply put, you're going to brain dump the tasks of your day-to-day. You're going to categorize them. You're going to note how much time you spend on them. You're going to note your energy levels. And you're going to then look at how much of an impact it has on growth of the business. And the good news, this is one of the systems that you can get access to when we talk about it at the end. I'm going to give you this so you can do this for yourself. So first you need to do that. Then we need to map out how the business operates into from sales and marketing, all the way to recruitment, all the way to how we acquire clients, all the way to how we fulfill on our clients. We need to map things out. And just to be clear, this is not process mapping. So please don't get this wrong. This is called what I call value mapping. I'm going to show you a little bit about this in a moment. It is looking at your business from a high level, bird's eye view, not granular detail. Within these maps, you should define the areas where you are heavily involved, right? That's what's super important here. You need those friction points highlighted. Once we've got those friction points highlighted, which we did in our brain dump earlier in our founder efficiency tracker, you've mapped out, you now can create your company's playbooks. And you don't want to create hundreds of SOPs. Please don't do that. It doesn't work. No one reads them. You just want 5 to 6 core friction points that you're involved in. So you want to map it out. You want to use video. You want to use AI, and you want to build a playbook library of those friction points that you are still involved in. And then you want to get and organize your team in what I call a customized team function chart. And this will define who everyone in your business is, where they work, how they work, what they work on, what they're accountable to. You keep it really simple. This is not an org chart. It is a function chart. What functions do they work in? Not just the job title, right? You list each area. There might even be overlap. That's also okay. You might have a staff member, John in fulfillment, but you might also have them in marketing and sales. That's fine. But what does John do in marketing and sales, and what does John do in fulfillment? Because then we need to know whether John's being spread thin, what resources we need, or where we can lean on. It will help you find your next hire, all of that kind of stuff. That's what this does. So once you've done that and you've mapped everything, you've checked your friction points, you've mapped it out, you've created the playbooks, you've got a library of playbooks for people to use, and you've got a team function chart that you can hand over to your team. You bring these together, that becomes your fundamental foundations. And as I said, I can't go too deep on all of them, but I'm going to show you a couple that I want you to work on immediately tomorrow. So first, we have to answer, where am I really stuck? Which is the tracker. Right? I developed this called the Founder Efficiency System. At the end of the workshop, again, we're going to show you, and Veblen directors, they're going to get out the stuff for you to get access to this stuff. Okay. Right. You'll have access to a Google Sheet where you can do this. But essentially, you need to do a focused brain dump. I'm talking 30 to 60 minutes, no one around, doors shut, noise cancelling in, go. List only the tasks that personally land on you. Daily, weekly, monthly, and be specific. So really simple. You just do that here on the left-hand side. You can do this on a piece of paper, by the way. You don't even need this. You could do this today. Don't rely just on getting this to do it. It's not hard. The common mistake, though, is that we sit there for hours trying to list everything we do. Do not do this. Just focus on the most common for now. Focus on the most common for now. All right. I have clients sometimes give me a list of 50. There's a reason I've only left 20 boxes there for you. And if you try to edit it, it will mess up all the formulas. And I've done that on purpose because I don't want you to write, what are the 20 core things, the main things? And sometimes it may not even be 20. So you brain dump, you then pick a category. This is the area of the business. I consult my clients to build their business in 3 departmental pillars, which is growth, fulfillment. Growth is essentially what it is, marketing and sales. Fulfillment is how do we deliver what we sell? That's the fulfillment of our product and service. And then structure is everything behind the scenes, team management, finance, all of that kind of stuff. Don't overthink it too much. Just use what you think is right. We're really looking for where you're spending growth mainly or not spending growth. From there, you'll pick times, whether it be weekly, monthly, daily, and you just put in the minutes. How many minutes? Now, if you use this to do it, and when you get this tool, if you use it, you do need to stay with minutes. You do not want to edit the hours column because that is a formula that's going to give us the outcome. Then you want to pick the energy level. Is it draining, neutral, don't really mind it, or is it energizing? We want to know. As founders, we want to spend time on things that energize us. What's the growth impact? One, obviously, being no growth impact, like ordering office supplies has no growth impact. But jumping on sales calls, massive growth impact, right? So pick 1 to 5 where the growth impact lives. And then can we systemize and delegate it? Now, another thing here, you want to be really careful with yourself here, okay? Because there's a common mistake. You're going to select everything because you want everything to be systemized and delegated, but just focus on what will make an immediate impact. That's it. 5 to 7 things that will make immediate impact tomorrow. because businesses usually fail because of indigestion, not starvation. I'm going to talk more to that later. But adding more things will not solve your problems. So you want to work on what we have right now. Just what are the 5 to 7 things in that list? So you highlight the items that repeat and drain you, okay? And the good news, when you get this, the system is going to do it for you because it's going to highlight here for you where you're spending your time. And you can start making decisions on that. Is that good? Yeah? Just give me a yes in the chat or a thumbs up in the chat. Thumbs up or yes in the chat would be good, just so I know we're speaking to the right people. Thank you for the thumbs up, people. Appreciate it. Thank you. Remember, 5 to 7 tasks that are frequently draining, low growth, and costly to you. This is where you start. The problem I see most business owners is they jump to solutions without diagnosis. And this is what this is going to do. We jump to solutions without diagnosis. And you wonder why that we have all this information in our head, because we have a to-do list longer than our arm because we're trying to do too much. And then we end up at our laptops again, heads in hands, not knowing what to do next, stressed out, overwhelmed, and anxious. We don't want that. But once you have that list, once you know what you're going to work on, the 5, 7 things that are the friction points that are always landing on your desk, you want to map it out. You just want to map it out. Use any tool. It doesn't matter, guys. Don't worry too much about this. Just use any tool, any mapping tool. I use a tool called whimsical.com, but you can use any tool. And you want to then map it out in a process that I call value mapping. And I do this with my clients where we map out their entire business in departments. We don't map out the whole thing. This isn't a customer journey process. We go growth, what happens in growth, what happens in fulfillment, what happens in structure. And we map it out on one page in either growth or fulfillment for them. All right. And we use value mapping early in the self-scaling system because you cannot scale what you cannot clearly see. And by the way, value mapping is the process of visually mapping how the value moves through the business. It is the visual of where you are still involved. That's what we're looking for. And the friction points we identified in the previous tracker. And that's it. So just build those maps. Just build them out. We're talking literally, guys, by the way. You could even just use Post-its, whiteboard, and a Sharpie. I've done this many times. I'll show you examples of that in a moment. But just build them. There's no excuse for it. It should look something like this eventually. And then again, you want to look at those friction points. So again, you can use an online tool, or here are some real life client examples. Just use a whiteboard, a glass wall, Post-its. What happens? Like then this, and just post it, note out everything. And then you draw arrows and connect it. You build a flow. And then you identify where you are the bottleneck. 3 to 5 owner bottleneck points that you got from the founder. You want to find that in the map. And you literally just circle them on your map. And then you use video walkthroughs, loom.com, AI, ChatGPT. You take those transcripts, you put them in AI, and it will create SOPs for you. Really simple. It's not that difficult. The problem is we've just never had a structure to do it. We never knew what to focus on. What do we do first? The tracker will do that. The maps will highlight it for you. And then we start building out playbooks. And then if you do it, if you actually do this, what you'll experience is few interruptions so you can focus on strategy, the team that can work effectively without you, and you stop being the go-to for every answer, and the business feels structured instead of fragile. And that is your fundamental foundations. Okay? If you just do that, you will see huge results in your business in regards to systemizing it. You do not need to create hundreds of documents. You just need to show up one day, do the tracker, brain dump what you're working on, what kind of level of growth it is, what number of growth impact it has on the business. Does it drain you? Does it not drain you? Map it out, put playbooks to it, and give it to the team. Let them ride it. Okay. Good so far? Is that good so far? Let me know where you're at, guys. And again, I know I'm going quite fast. It's just time constraint that we're on at the moment. So I just want to make sure. Good. All right. Thank you. And if, by the way, if there's any questions or anything, we will cover those. And then I'm going to stay as long as you guys need. We'll be here for Q&A. All right. I am not constrained to the hour, but I know that's what we said it will be, and we can do Q&A at the end. So that's the first system, the fundamental foundations, the priority over anything. Then we have system 2, which is what I call the company communication system. Cadence, sorry. Whereas we want to look at how can we get predictable growth in our business. We want to install what we call the scorecard system and the meeting cadence across every department. And what that does is going to solve firefighting, silence, and underperformance. It will install a rhythm, weekly meetings that look at issue tracking and scorecards, KPIs that surface problems before they become emergencies. And then the outcome is that issues get raised and resolved without you having to chase everyone. And performance becomes visible, fixable, and trackable, as well as growth becoming predictable and sustainable. This alone reduces the noise that you're currently facing in your business and makes you a proactive leader that's focused on profit and not just babysitting your team. Yeah, sound good? So we want to build out scorecards. We want to build out scorecards that look something like this, just every area of your department, every area of your business. Scorecards. We need to know the numbers. Numbers don't lie, whether we like it or not. And some people don't like me saying this, but the fact is business is defined by how successful the scorecards tell you. Numbers don't lie. Most amount of money, shortest amount of time. That's business. All right. So what's important here is that you can see the differences. We've got in the top left is a growth scorecard. Then we have the top right is an operational scorecard. The bottom left is what I call a fulfillment scorecard, right? Different types of businesses. And then you've got your company scorecard in the bottom right, which it provides the holistic view of the business. Remember, growth is about sales and marketing. Company scorecards are usually the holistic view of the business's health. Everything from cash collected, cash in the bank, invoices overdue, projects delivered on time, number of leads. It gives you a whole overview, where the fulfillment is specifically about delivering any of your parts of your business. And once you have scorecards in place, you then build your weekly and basically your yearly rhythm of meetings. And you've got your scorecards, you've got your meeting rhythm, and then you build out a cadence that runs the business. Create a scorecard from the value map you built. That's what I need you to do. When you've mapped everything out, you want to create the scorecard to meet that map. What do I mean by that? You're basically looking for 5 to 10 measurable indicators tied to the workflow, which is the value map that we built from phase 1. So again, you're circling squares and you're going, what metric will tell us if this is working or on track? Here's a real life example of a recruitment that they'd hate me saying this. They're actually executive search company that I work with. They only do 6-figure salaries, board and execs. They only hire those. They're like headhunters, actually. This is how they do it. So the circles are what they want to track and make sure happens. The circles also became their playbooks. So for example, here are some core metrics that they wanted to track across the board of this map. Contract sent, contract signed, average time from contract sent to contract signed, because they don't want delay. They want to get the person in fast. Right? Remember, they only get paid when the person's into the business. Right? Time from contract signed to job live. Again, important. Why? They don't want to wait 3-4 months for the person to get their money. Qualified candidates added, so on and so on. You can see the list here. And they defined that from this map. And this defines what good looks like and shows whether the system's actually working. Is this map actually working? Are we efficient? Are we effective? Right? Businesses are scaled through data-driven decision-making. And you want to put data into your workflows and value maps and ensure that your team meets those KPIs. So what you want to do is turn that workflow, turn that brain dump of stats. By the way, again, you can use AI today to do this. You can put the map into AI and go, if you were me, you can be a prompt expert. But really what you just want to ask it is, if you were this role in this business and you were looking at KPIs for this map, what would it be? Create a better prompt than that, guys, please. But you know what I mean? You can go back and forth with AI. All right. And this is what you will come out with. If you do brain dump and you organize it into a scorecard, it's just a spreadsheet looking at weekly numbers. Here's the bigger version for you, right? Activation metrics, outreach metrics, client engagement metrics, offer close metrics. You see this? They're just tracking every single metric across the whole map. That is how that founder got out of their business day to day. They looked at this every week and they knew what was going on per project. Sounds good, right? Because why do we want to be on top of the team all the time? Don't want to do that. The next step, now we've got all of that. The next step forces you out of reactive mode and lets you focus on scaling. It's going to build confidence in the team by giving them ownership and visible outcomes. It will produce a predictable weekly rhythm that reduces your owner anxiety, because you'll be able to see problems before they arise and allow your team to work the system without needing you for everything. So this next step, big warning, if you skip this next step I'm going to tell you to do, problems will pile up, decisions default back to you, and the business just stays dependent on your daily involvement. So this is not about more meetings either. It's about changing behavior. This is about stopping meetings for meeting's sake and building a weekly habit that protects your time and builds accountable team. So how do we implement it? You just you book a weekly step back meeting. It's a 60 to 90 minute block at the same time every week, non-negotiable. Do not be that business owner who changes meetings every week. It doesn't work. We need to systemize your diary. We need to systemize your business, and we need to systemize you. The way you build a really great culture and accountable team is that you stick to the word to. You invite all your relevant team members who are key to the workflows of the business and metrics that you built earlier. And then every week, as I said, diary should look like this. Whether it be, I do it every Monday, but every Monday, whatever, every Tuesday, it doesn't matter the day, boom, same time. That's what your diary should look like for this meeting. It's basically a weekly scorecard review. You pull it up and you see what the data is telling you and the team, and you have that conversation. What you want to do is build a diary, a calendar that looks something like this eventually. Right? This is a meeting cadence that we actually install with our business owners so they can get more free time back. Now, I do want to ask in the chat, I know I can see the time here, so I do want to make sure I get through as much as possible, but I do want to ask in the chat, what color, but not many get this right, but what color do you see the most of on here? What color do you see the most of on this? Just put it in the chat. What color do you see the most of? All right. Sue said blue. Ashwin said white. Who's going to win? Claire said white. Okay, good. You guys are getting it. Awesome. Yeah, white. Empty space for you to live life, for you to lead from strategy and structure, for you to focus on growth and scalability, not day-to-day capabilities. That's what we want for you. That's a whole year, by the way. Look how much white space there is. Why? Because as a CEO, that was my last 2 years. Doesn't mean I played around and I was on a hammock half my year. That's not the point. I was in my zone. Yeah, I had the right meetings at the right time. I knew what the business needed, and I worked on the business, not in it, because I put this in. Because when you do this, your days feel more peaceful. Meetings move the business forward rather than just talk about stuff. Visible performance instead of reactive guesswork. And you begin to see how growth can become predictable and sustainable. And that is that is just a couple of layers of the communication cadence that we install and you need to install into your business. And you can probably see I've covered 3 or 4 core elements here. There's so many different things I could go through. As I said, couldn't do it all in this time. But I want you to start implementing these at least. Start brain dumping where you're spending your time. Understand what impact it has on the business or doesn't have on the business's growth. Start mapping it out. Start building playbooks. We've got Loom and AI. We've got so many tools today. There's no excuse for it. Give it to your team. Build a library for them. You know, I had a client literally in our community today, WhatsApp the community, and say, hey guys, I've got, I'm hiring a new operations manager, and I've put on the job spec under remuneration and benefits, he's put, and I'm going to share the exact message with you actually, because I want to get this right and what he said. He's literally put on the job spec, full suite of operational training available at this at this business. And all he's talking about is the community that he's part of here. He's going to allow the operations manager to be part of it. But imagine being able to do that because he's got all of this ready to go for them. Just makes hiring easier, onboarding easier. Now we're nearly at time, so I want to make sure that I get through this. So the next 2, I can't go into a lot of detail, but I wanted to give you enough to at least go away with and know where to start. Those are the 2 key parts. The next 2, we're not building much really, but we do need to get what I call the purposeful people business in place. This is now it stops you from constantly having to connect the dots, because if the team doesn't yet move with complete clarity or accountability, that is not their problem. That is a you problem. You need to fix that. And how we do it is we need to install a system that drives ownership and raises standards. And what this system needs to do for your business is it defines expectations and ownership. It gives you performance and frameworks to systemize the culture. You need hiring plans, one-to-ones, reviews, onboarding, all built into your business. Just like I just told you, my client Lee there, he has an external cleaning company called XL Cleaning based out of Harrogate, that he's promoting for an ops manager and saying, we have all of this for you. So you'll love it here, because when you come to our business, we've got playbooks, we've got this, and then you could just come in and just be your operations manager. And the outcome of having a purposeful people system is you build a culture of accountability, not dependency. You know who's working on what and why, and you become the visionary leader you've always wanted to be in your business. So initially, the first 2 phases, what we did is we built what's called building phase, where we mapped out your business. We installed playbooks. We built out a function chart. We got scorecards, meeting cadence in place. Everything now foundationally is in the business. Communication-wise, it's all there. But this system, the purposeful people, it's about who's going to build the business for you. Now we build the people who are going to build the business for you. I want you to sit with that for a second. We underestimate this part, because a system with the right people running it will only take you without the right people running it will only take you so far. You need to close that gap from the untapped potential in your current team or team members that you bring in on hire and pull them up. Because there are only 3 priorities that you need to aim for if you want to become a scalable, what I call a scalable CEO. There are only 3. And you focus now is down to these 3 things. Numbers. What are the numbers telling us? What do the data tells us to do? Your team, making sure they're happy and performing. And culture, making sure that is set. That's it. You want to become a scalable CEO? Put the systems in place so you can focus on these 3 things. So you want things like check-in frameworks. You want to make sure you do regular check-ins. If you're doing things, I do appraisals every 6 months. That is crap. That is old. You need to check in once a month, even if it's for 15 minutes. I've got a framework for that, right? But typically what you're looking at here is what went well, what didn't go well, how are your numbers, how are your KPIs. That's really what you're looking for, right? You're looking to have a recruitment system that finds A players. This is a checklist that I've built for my clients to find A players, how to hire people. We filter. We don't let anybody come into our organization. We want hiring scorecards. You want to look at that. And then you want ways to track your team, whether they're behind or on track, accountability, action plans. You can use whatever you want. ClickUp, Asana. I'm just showing you a version of a Google Sheet that we developed for the client, which is the key initiatives and clarity of progress, where they're at. They always have 3 things that they focus on. They break them down, then they show where they're at with it. Really good, no? That's what you need. And the good news is you're not really trying to build much here because you've got the foundations in place. You just want to put in specific frameworks to hire right, check in on that team, and make sure they stay on track and give them the resources to do that. That is what you have to do. You have to build what I call purposeful people. And last but no means least, the last system is vision, clarity, and culture. Now this brings it all together. You must have crystal clear direction for the business tied to 90-day sprints, 90-day plans. This means the business runs on rhythm and priorities, not just you and your energy. You actually have a plan in place every single 90 days. Your team finally understands what good looks like and how to push it forward for you. So you want to install something called a clarity matrix or a 90-day sprint planning system. By the way, don't worry about the frameworks too much. You can do this without even needing all of the tools, really. You could just go, okay, well, how can I build clarity? I'm going to show you that. Right? What it does, it solves strategic drift and misalignment. You want to make sure that it defines purpose, values, North Stars, and what I call strategic USPs, provides 3-year growth map tied to quarterly execution. And the outcome is your team starts thinking like you. Decisions are aligned to your standards, culture, and vision. And growth becomes truly scalable, strategic, and values-led. Because if you don't design your culture, it will design itself. And it is a big one. And the reason we leave it at the last system, because we need to build first. We need to get things in place, and the culture will start to form itself, which is great. But if we don't design it, it is shaped by loud personalities, it is shaped by informal habits, and it's shaped by the most influential. And that's not what you want. You need intentional culture will require clarity. So you want to look at something like this. You want to know, what's your 3-year target? By what year we will serve this type of client that generates us this much of money at this revenue margin. That's it. Who do you serve? How do you serve them? And who do you serve? How much are we going to make? What's the margin? Then you've got your strategic USPs. What makes you unique in the market? Really think about that. And by the way, being customer focused is not unique. Sorry to say. Everyone can say they're customer focused. What is actually unique about you? All right. What are your core values? What are your behavioral standards in the business? And what is your purpose? So we help specific clients create or obtain specific results through specific service. That's it. You give that to your team, they start to have clarity on why they're doing what they're doing. Because it's a framework for better decisions, clarity on where the company is going, alignment on how the team moves it forward. Most importantly, it's how we systemize your culture. Once you've done that, you can now go, okay, what's our 3-year plan, 12 quarterly financial forecast? You want to look at it 3 years. If I want to get to 5 million, let's work back into 12 quarters. You want to do that. So your 3-year target, you might want to make a difference. You might want to build a great business, and you might want to create a great place to work, but you cannot scale without a clear goal. So set a goal and tell the team that goal. And this man, something I referred to earlier, changed the way I did business dramatically from this one quote. David Packard, the founder of Hewlett Packard, he said something that changed the way I do business. Most organizations die of indigestion than starvation. You're just trying to do too much in one go, where with 90-day sprint planning, the goal with 90-day sprint planning is that you review the last quarter, you learn from what worked, and you set goals for the next stage of growth. You start to filter what actually needs focus. It gives you and your team rhythm and structure, and it stops reactive firefighting and helps you move into creation and execution mode instead of survival mode. So here is an example of a quarterly sprint plan. You don't have to get this detailed if you don't want to, but essentially what you're looking at here is 3 areas of focus in the business that we need to work on. What are the numbers we want to move? The core numbers, the North Stars, I call them. And then how are we going to move those numbers? Here are the projects and initiatives that need to happen. That's it. You do that with your team. You have a plan for the next 90 days and you focus on that plan. And any meeting you have, does it come back to the quarterly sprint plan? You put all 3 in place because this will make it practical and clear for you. And that is the last system of the self-scaling system. So now you have the 4 systems are in place to buy back your time without losing control. Your team steps up with clarity and energy, and you scale with confidence, not chaos. All right. Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate that. I didn't know I was building this when I was a CEO. This is what I had to put into a framework to teach people, to coach people and consult them. It's not something I planned to do. I was a CEO and I had to solve my problems, and I did it with this. And then I packaged it up at the end and thought, okay, well, how do I actually give it to my team? And then how can I teach others as well? And that's what this came from. So that's the entire thing, guys. That's the entire system. But I want you to think about it. If you do own a business today and you are anywhere over 500K a year in turnover, whether that be dollars, whether that be pounds, whether that be euros, it's neither here or there, as long as it's around that number. And you're looking to scale with less stress, and you're looking to get to 3, 4, 5 million or beyond, I need you to think about it. If nothing changes, you will keep being a bottleneck. Things will stay reactive and the business stays stuck. But if you build this now, your team becomes self-sufficient, you regain time, and growth becomes sustainable. Now, one path will cost energy, time, and clarity for you, but the other builds freedom, structure, and scale. If my advice is worth anything today, I would take this on, because this has been developed in a way to make it simple and straightforward. Doesn't mean it's always easy, but it's simple and straightforward. Get your fundamental foundations in place, get your communication in order, get your people working the systems to get the strategy right. And that's why it comes from a place of the STS framework: systems, team, strategy. The right systems that scale, the right team to run those systems, and the right strategy that those systems lead you toward. And that's what the self-scaling system does. That's what it does. That's what it can give you if you want it. And by the way, I know I've given you just a dose today, but just go away and start with the foundations. Know where you're spending your time, map it out, start creating playbooks around it. That's a good start. Because today, look, I could only touch the surface today, right? Everyone agree this is very difficult to show you all of this in 1 hour. We're already over an hour really at the moment, right? Just under, I think, even. But I've only touched the surface today. And I know that some of you might even want to know more about this. So what I want to do is, like I said, I have complete confidence that if you left alone to your own devices, that you can move your business forward. You can even take what I covered today, take the recording, take the slides, and you can cause some results. You can block the time. You can find out where your friction points are. You can build the maps. You can install the playbooks and the scorecards. You can do it all. With some effort and trial and error and persistence, you will make some progress. But what if we didn't leave it to trial and error? Remember what I said at the start, the 100% transparency. I'll offer you a chance to talk to me one-on-one to discuss tailored help applying the self-scaling system in your business. It's an invitation to have a conversation if you meet the criteria and qualify. And I want to talk about that in a moment. Nevertheless, even if you don't, take what I gave you today. Just use it. You'll thrive from it. And I'm going to give you a tool at the end. As I said, we're going to get Veblen to send you out something at the end as well to help you. At this point, you just need to ask yourself, do you want to keep things running in your business as they are with you carrying all the weight? Or do you want to build an operating system that is built for scale? And if the answer is 2, and this sounds like what your business needs, the next simple step is you and I can have a conversation with me, not some other person, with me directly. And this is for Veblen directors, webinar attendees exclusive. I call it a scaling clarity call. I'll walk you through how we would install these into your business, what ones I would work on and which ones I advise you to work on, and ensure it's a strong fit for the both of us. And by the way, even if it's not, we'll have a great conversation, I have no doubt. But if we feel it is, we can then discuss working together. All right, fair enough? Sound good? All right, beautiful. I just want to be clear as well, because I'm going to give you a link in a moment that you can go book a call if you want to book a call with me, who this is for and who this is not for. I respect your time so much. I want to make sure you don't book something in and it's not going to be useful for you. So if you are between £500,000 turnover or 5 million turnover in revenue, this is for you. Again, it'd be pounds, euros, dollars, very much the same. As long as you're at that level, this is for you. If you do want a business that runs without you, then this is for you. If you're ready to build structure and systems, this is definitely for you to consider. And coachable and willing to put in the effort, this is for you. And you want support, not theory, this is definitely for you. If you want to work with me directly, this is for you. You want to be part of a community of some of the best business owners across Europe, this is for you. But this is not for you if you are under 100, if you are under 500K in revenue. Again, pounds, dollars, euros, it doesn't matter. You know, very much the same in value at some level today. If you're under that, this is not for you. If you want it all done for you, we're not an agency. That's not what we do. We are consultants. We are coaches. We are advisors. Know it all and have an ego. And I say this because some people turn up on these calls and I just can't be with that. You've asked me for help and you're telling me how to do. It's cool. I get it. But if you are that character, I'm just not in that place where I need to work with people like that. Okay. I'm transparent and honest here. Or you're looking for overnight success, definitely don't consider it. If you're not willing to put some work in, then please don't consider it. And if you want a magic pill, then this is definitely not for you. But if you are serious about building a proper business, using a proven, scalable operating system, then this will be an incredible, valuable next step for you. There's no doubt in my mind. So you can go here, by the way, guys. You can go to this link. It's been in the chat as well. And you can see a calendar. And I've opened it up it's actually exclusive for Veblen. You'll see on there, Veblen exclusive. You can go to stslink.co/Veblen, which is also in the chat right now. Or you can just pick up your phone if you're watching this on your laptop and scan that QR code, and it will take you to the book a form page. And look, by the way, I can show you testimonials after testimonials. This is a client of mine, Leighton. I wish I found John sooner. Since implementing his systems, our conversion rates have hit up to 91%. By the way, I'm not just making these up. There's the screenshot. I wish I found John sooner, mate. Or I wish I found you sooner, mate. I literally show proof like this, right? And this is the screenshot of what he sent me there. He sent me a screenshot of his CRM. There's his CRM. That is exactly what he sent me. When you open up the picture, 134 leads, 95 bookings, 91% conversion, 22K in a week from this new system. But it's not always just about money, right? Dave here, first time in 30 years, stepped back and enjoyed time away guilt-free, knowing everything under control. Or even Paul, who said, I transformed the way his organization operates. Cool. So I know we're at time, but I do want to take questions. So who has any questions? By the way, I don't know if we can actually, I'm going to do this actually. Can we unmute? I don't know if we can. Oh, we've got Q&A here. How much time it practically takes to implement this system? 3 to 3 hours a week, Anna? Anna has asked how much time practically, if you can dedicate 2 to 3 hours focused, as in like full hours, then yeah, we can do that in 12 to 15 weeks. That's all what my clients do. We run it in 2 to 3 hours a week. How much do you manage that your business will not be stolen from you? Don't know what that means, Anna. What do you mean about not stolen from you? You worried about someone taking your idea or something? Is that what you mean? Maybe ask that again in a different way. How do you replicating it? I mean, every business is replicatable. You're never going to stop that unless you are, even AI today. What ChatGPT is being taken over by Claude. The concept's the same. Just one done it better. And that's why Claude is growing so quickly right now. Unfortunately, Anna, that's just business. What I'm doing right now is replicatable. I'm doing what other people are doing in a similar way. Yeah. Creating a direct competitors. The one thing I'll say just to your question, Anna, just so we can nail that one is, look, I actually want you to replicate people because you want to look at what's been successful in the past and we want to make it your own. That's actually what Burger King did with McDonald's. Although they're not as big, it's still pretty big. All these fast food places, like every business has been done before. There is no way you are at that much level different. You could be unique, but it doesn't mean you're different. There are two different things. Definitely, hopefully that answers your questions, but you're never going to, I haven't got any way that can stop someone, unless you own IP, intellectual property, then of course, or you own a patent. It's a very different business though. I wouldn't, I want to deal with traditional businesses that make traditional profits, traditional money. I'm not trying to build software or anything like that. It's not the gig I'm in. People who work and stole your clients and stuff. That's just a purposeful people thing, Anna. If people have gone and stolen your clients that work for you, you don't have a structure for one that they want to stay and work for you. You haven't built out a benefit system that actually keeps them there and helps them make great money with you, so they don't have to do that. Secondly, you have to have just great contracts in place and actually enforce them as and when. That's really it. You just have to enforce them as and when. That's basically it. That's the nuts and bolts of it. But you're never going to stop that, frankly. Investment mastery, we had pretty much 4 or 5 of our coaches and consultants who were in finance consulting, go and try and start out on their own. It is what it is. But the ones that wanted to do that as well, we also gave them a business opportunity to do that as well. So we also looked at that as well. So there were ways around it, but you're never going to solve it 100%, unfortunately. Okay. Any other questions? Anyone got anything in the chat? You can use the Q&A. I do actually now have found that. So that is, yeah. Any questions on scaling your business, systemizing your business, what I just showed you today? Anyone got any bottlenecks? I'll do some live breakdowns now if you want. No problem whatsoever. We can go through your business Let me just stop the screen. And yeah, we can answer. I'll literally do some live consulting now if you want. I'm very open to that. All right. Who here is a little bit shy? I mean, we've still got 10, 15, 13 people here. So who here owns a business that just wants to ask a question? All right. Doesn't look like we've got many. Cool. All right. Well, you know what we'll end with then is I've got a little video for you about some of my clients, hopefully to inspire you, for you to understand that it is possible. Doesn't matter your age, your gender, your culture, your religion, doesn't actually matter. That you can actually achieve a business that changes your life. Oh, Ashwin, sorry, I've just seen it, buddy. I'm looking at the chat, and let me put the Q&A up here, actually, and then I can just make sure I see it. Would your system change and adapt for a startup? What do you mean startup? What do you do? Like, are you pre-revenue? I think best to put it in the chat, Ashwin, as well. Probably be easier to go back and forth. I haven't got enough context to answer that. Yeah, pre-revenue SaaS, this is not for you, dude. I'm be straight with you. Like, pre-revenue SaaS is not a world that I like to live in. I don't like risk. I like risk in the sense of I'm a great investor, but I'm like middle. So this isn't going to help a pre-revenue SaaS. No, if I'm being really honest, and that's like selling myself. I work with businesses that already have revenue, have teams, have some structure, have clients, making money, and I show the business owner how to have a life and not have the business be part of them 24/7. You're doing a SaaS business, depending on what you're trying to do with that SaaS business. It's a very different industry. So I'm just not the guy for that, if I'm honest. I cannot help you answer questions and I understand it, but I'm not going to consult on it, unfortunately. So sorry, I wasn't able to help you there. Just being real. It's not my bag. Pre-revenue SaaS. Are you raising, Ashwin? Are you raising right now? Let me know if you're raising. Is he still here? Yeah, he's still here. Or are you just bootstrapping? There's no way you're bootstrapping a SaaS, I'm sure. Yeah, if you're thinking of bootstrapping, nah, bro, it depends on what industry. What industry? What are you trying to do? By the way, I hope you don't mind me being very candid with you. I just want to make sure you don't lose money. What is it? What is the SaaS product? Do you want to unmute, Ashwin? Just have a chat.
Hi.
Hey, my man. How are you? You okay?
I'm doing good. I appreciate your honesty. The structure is pretty. I've seen this in bigger companies in a much larger scale. So there are nuances to a smaller companies which you address very well.
Yeah.
We are building a platform which helps investors, VCs to do their due diligence.
I see that. I used to be in the finance game, so I get what you're trying to do. Yeah. It's going to be hard to bootstrap. Have you got some money in the bank? Don't have to give me the details.
Yeah. Enough to last a year between me and co-founders. So the unique part of our platform is that we combine both psychometric analysis along with AI. So that's no one else is doing both of them combined. And my co-founder is somebody who's done this she's a professor in Heilsge, Switzerland, and she's done a postdoc and has got like a body of work with over 10 years on this, analyzing teams, the dynamics between the teams, how they're working together, and how is the overall empathy, etc. You understand the psychometrics behind this because you have a team.
I know what you're trying to do. Where are you based?
I'm based in Zurich, Switzerland.
Nice. Cool. So it's not a bad place to be based for it. No, I know a friend of mine right now who just launched an AI startup, not in your niche, but it's called Searchable. His name's Chris Donnelly. You'll find him on LinkedIn. Chris Donnelly he's a friend of mine. And the only reason he could bootstrap it, and he didn't bootstrap, he bootstrapped it for 3 months. Yeah. And then he raised 3 million. And this guy's sold his business for 25 million. He's then launched after that selling, just to give you some context, after he sold that business, he then launched another SaaS business called Lottie with his brother, which then was valued at 100 million within like a year. So he knows how to build these businesses, and he still didn't bootstrap it. And he had, like, when I mean 25 million, that was his exit number, and he owned 85% of that business. So you can imagine the money he got out of that. So he had, and he still, why? Because great, when you're doing SaaS, great investors can really change the trajectory of your business. So you don't just get investment money, you get investment for the human that's also coming with it as well.
Absolutely. We're trying to work that out, but the investors are our customers. So it's a double-edged sword. It works well in certain areas. But could you repeat the name again? I'll try to reach out to him on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Could you repeat the name of your colleague?
Oh, you won't get him, buddy. You can. Chris Donnelly. I mean, he's like the biggest. He's probably the biggest personal brand on LinkedIn. He's got like 1.2 million. It would be very difficult to get hold of him. But try. It's like he's definitely. It's like trying to get hold of Stephen Bartlett. Like it's going to be. But try, connect with him. I just think you'll find it difficult.
Yeah, I will try to reach out to him.
You never know, right?
We have some mutual folks on.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I'll reach out to him. Thanks for that. It's really helpful. And
of course, man.
The other thing I just wanted to, if I get a chance, I sent the LinkedIn request before you gave the request of saying that Weblim seminar. So, but I think you'll remember me and my name, or your team will remember me. So, hope to connect with you. And next time
I'll check right now. Where are you? I think Anthony was on here, wasn't he? I can see names here. 1 second. Where are you? You did it before I even. There you are. That's you, Ashwin. Done.
Yes. Thanks a lot.
Next
time I'm in London, I'll definitely, you're based in London, so I'd look you up. And if you're coming to Switzerland or Zurich side, give me a shout. Would love to connect over a beer.
I appreciate you. No problem. No challenge whatsoever. Thank you so much. Right. Just, all right. So I think it's virtually you and me now. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Anyone who's still here. And I look forward to adding value to you again. And I'm sure after this, Veblen will be getting you some emails with two things. They'll get you the, if you want to book a call with me, but there'll also be a survey you can take, what I call my self-scaling scorecard, which will tell you what actions to take to scale your business. So fill that out and they'll get that out to you. All right, everyone, I'll let you go. Have a great one. I will speak to you. Hopefully see you soon or see you on LinkedIn. Appreciate it.